Well, after the Thanksgiving holiday, it wasn't just the turkey that got pardoned, Logan. It was also Hunter Biden. And let me tell you this right off the bat. The president has pardon power, universal, not Karine Jean-Pierre, not his spokespeople, not people on CNN, not people on MSNBC. And by the way, the president of the United States, President Biden, and whether that's President Trump in the future, who has a lot of pressure on him to issue a lot of pardons on day one. This is a power the Constitution and the following the legal community has given to the President of the United States as Commander-in-Chief. He can both pardon or commute sentences. Pardon means your record is cleansed only on federal issues, so it does not involve state crimes. A commutation means you've served your time. You should be released if you're incarcerated. That crime should kind of no longer be following you around in life. And listen, I think it was a President Biden imagining at that moment when he was making those comments, one, he didn't even know how the legal system would come out. And I just think at this point, because he was going to lose this power very soon, that if this charges, which most people expected to be kind of a slap on the wrist, you've repaid maybe some fines, no jail time kind of situation. Well, now you're looking at your own party pushed you out. Your own party has been, going nuts on if Donald Trump comes in, he's going to let out the MAGA warriors who are going to take over the country. All those crazy conspiracy theories, right? And I think this actually leads to, what some of these Joe Rogan type characters and others have said, which was, and you've said it, Will. I mean, we've all kind of said to each other, it seemed like when Joe Biden was voting that day, he had a big smile on his face, and he knew that with that big smile on his face, Harris was down in every major poll. And he put on a Make America Great Again hat.
Yeah, I think he had gone definitely rogue in terms of what they expected. There's a lot of even reports. There's lots of even reports that him endorsing Harris was sort of a slap in the face moment because he didn't want out, and he thought, well, this is not going to be what they wanted because maybe the Obamas and the Pelosi's wanted. I think I forgot who said. I think John Morgan said that on Chris Cuomo's show, that he had heard that's what had happened. So a lot of those talks had happened where he was just bitter about everything that went down.
That's right. And I want to read some tweets for you of how some of the left is taking this news today. Here's the Democrat governor of Colorado. While as a father, I certainly understand President Joe Biden's natural desire to help his son by pardoning him, I am disappointed that he put his family ahead of country. This is a bad precedent that could be abused by later presidents and will sadly tarnish his reputation. Mark Penn, former Hillary Clinton longtime advisor. Disgraceful pardon. This was not a pardon of just Hunter Biden, but of Joe Biden himself, as his son ran a scheme with Joe's brother to shake down adversaries of over $20 million and then didn't even pay taxes on it. And the loot was distributed even to grandchildren. This is yet another of many issues the American public was shamefully gaslighted over. So a Hillary Clinton advisor now sounding more like a right-wing pundit when it comes to that. And then you've got this, Congressman Greg Landsman. As a father, I get it. But as someone who wants people to believe in public service again, it's a setback. So the left is having a meltdown over this. And part of the reason is because they were so adamant by believing what the White House was telling them that he would not issue such a pardon. Here's a supercut of folks on MSNBC. Back through, this is over a span of time, when the White House kept telling everyone there will not be a pardon for Hunter Biden. Here's how MSNBC chose to report this. Bite 2.
Our current president of the United States has so much respect for the law that he has said he would not pardon his son. I mean, again, it's all about the contrast.
President Biden saying, I will respect whatever this jury decides, versus Donald Trump after he was convicted on 34 counts, saying the entire system is rigged against him.
Their latest attack has been that Joe Biden has politicized and weaponized the DOJ, right? That was the whole argument around Donald Trump's conviction. And this week, of course, Hunter Biden was found guilty. And Joe Biden has very clearly said he would not pardon his son. He would not commute his sentence. How stark is this difference? I mean, how can Republicans keep making this argument now that Joe Biden has really put it out there? Where's Hunter? And he stood there in a courtroom, flanked by his family, and he's accepted his sentence.
He is not pardoning his son, which he could do. These are federal charges. Right. He is not doing that. He is not doing it because he is living what it means to have a rule of law in this country. Yeah. And then if you want to know if he believes it, you could actually see what is happening with his own son.
There you go, right there. The left, that was Andrew Weissman. Those were the Mueller team guys. They praised him for being, he was like, the most gracious. He's like above the most
American, Captain America.
Yeah, how could you be? And now you know what Joe Biden showed? And you know what, folks? This isn't necessarily bad. There's a reason why the founding fathers put this in our Constitution. It's because there was a high level, and there always has been in politics, and it's happened to Donald Trump, for the legal system and the justice system and the IRS and the other government agencies to come down hard on political leaders that they disagree with. And so was Hunter Biden treated fairly or not? Seems like he was actually treated sometimes better than others because of like the laptop he got totally. But we all eventually learned that stuff was not real. That he's gone through rehab very publicly. It's been this very kind of interesting public story.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, a president is a president, but they are also a father. And when you know that you have that power to maybe help your son stay on the right track this time, why aren't you going to give it to him?
Well, I think
and by the way, I don't want to hear another liberal the entire Trump presidency ever once complain about a single person Donald Trump pardons, because none is going to be like this one.
Well, I think you look at this one, and you can look at some of the ones that Trump did do, and they were some high-level people that were within the Trump world. They may have been his friends.
Incarcerated.
Yes, whether that was Manafort or any of these ones, Roger Stone or whoever it may be, that were
I think was
pardoned over time.
He wanted a commutation.
Not
he wanted
Roger
to keep
Stone.
fighting, right?
Right. Yeah, I believe there was a commutation there so that he could continue to
Paul
fight.
Manafort in solitary
no,
confinement.
I'm saying
for
that
God's sakes, folks, and he got a pardon. And the left went nuts.
That's what I'm more saying.
Hunter Biden's been painting $1 million pictures.
This is where we are in time. So you know what? It is what it is.
This is the law of the land.
But I think if it didn't come down to all of those supercuts you just saw, where there's 10 minutes or so, at least, that people have already put together of them saying there's no chance, and the reason there's no chance he's going to pardon him is because he's so great. He is America's America. He is the greatest of the greatest. If you had not said that, I don't think you would have any issues here. I think people would understand, and people would expect that you would do this.
Well, and I think one thing to also point out, Jordan, is that the left loves to put arbitrary restrictions on elected officials like the President of the United States, but are completely fine with the bureaucracy running amok and doing whatever they want. But when you read the article of the Constitution, the clause that talks about pardons, Article 2, Section 2, Clause 1, we have... he shall have power to grant reprieves and pardons for offenses against the United States, except in cases of impeachment. There's not a ton of over-restrictive what kind you can put.
The placement of that.
Yeah.
The first clause under the Constitution establishing the presidency of the United States as commander-in-chief. Clause 1 is the pardon power. That is how concerned our founding fathers were with those who were elected. Because let me tell you, you think our politics is rough. It is nothing like it used to be. I mean, not even, it may have gotten close under the Trump years. And of course, we've seen political violence, unfortunately, throughout our history. And that's that liberty versus freedom balance that we constantly have to look at. But the fact is, Article 2, Section 1, gives you the pardon power as president. It's a very important power. And listen, there's going to be a lot of other pardons of people, like you said, Logan, that did much worse things.
Yeah, I'm sure those will come out over the next few weeks. Let's go ahead and take a call real quick. Let's go to David, who's watching on YouTube. David, you're on the air.
Hey, thanks, guys. I'm talking about from at least right-leaning center on over to the more big C conservatives, we've known all along what the shenanigans would be. And we've been raked over the coals for even thinking such a thing.
Yeah. Right.
Yet,
even just asking how many times they asked about Hunter Biden over and over and over again, because we kind of knew this is where it was going.
But even, I mean, I don't even know if I'd go so far as to say it's shenanigans. This is a constitutional power of the president. The fact the left believed him when he said, I'm not going to pardon my own son, because he has the power to do it.
Did he ever say it after he was not running for re-election?
From the White House. White House did put out statements.
No, did he?
I don't know if he did in person.
That one video was way before, right?
Correct. But even that fact, it's a power of the president under the Constitution. It doesn't say except for family members. It says except for in cases of impeachment. So it gives the Congress that oversight for the political trials. But it's our culture that has created really limitations in saying, oh, he's got to follow the rule of law. He has the power to pardon. So how is that not following the rule of law based in our Constitution?
No, I think, listen, folks, this is a time to support the work of the ACLJ. It's to explain these issues, to get to the bottom of these issues. There's going to be a lot of this under the Trump presidency. And is the left going to forget that they just had a meltdown today and yesterday over the fact that President Biden made this move, and then they're going to act like, what President Trump is doing is fascist and Hitler-esque again? Because we're just going to point right to this one, pardoning your family members, which, by the way, the president has the absolute authority to do. And Lord knows if I was president of the United States and my son was in a position like that, or child, I'd certainly pardon them. And Logan, I hope if I was in that situation, you were president, you'd pardon me.
I think that's pretty good.